2,000 years ago, a Roman philosopher figured out why you keep putting things off, and it has nothing to do with laziness. Seneca said procrastination isn't a time management problem, it's a fear problem. You're not delaying because the task is hard. You're delaying because starting means admitting the task matters, and once you admit that, you can't hide. You have to act. Seneca wrote to his friend Lucilius with an urgency that cuts through the centuries. He said, "Begin immediately, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now, because the single greatest waste of life is the hours we steal from ourselves by pushing things forward. Every time you say, 'I'll do it later,' you're not saving time, you're losing it." In Letter 1, Seneca addresses something many of us live with but never name. Life is short, we all know this, but knowing it and believing it are two different things. Lucilius had everything figured out. Good job, good family, good prospects, and yet he was stalling on everything, not because he was lazy, but because he was waiting for the right moment, waiting until he had fewer things to do, waiting until he felt like it. Sound familiar? Seneca's response was radical for its simplicity. Stop waiting. The right moment is now. There is no other time. If you spend this moment stalling, you've wasted it. You cannot get it back. You can only decide what to do with the time you have. This is where most people misunderstand procrastination. We treat it as a productivity problem. We buy planners, we download apps, we watch videos about time management, and none of it works. Because we're treating the symptom, not the disease. The disease is a habit of self-deception. Seneca identified 3 masks that procrastination wears. The first is busyness. We convince ourselves we're too busy to start the real work, so we fill our days with small tasks. Emails, social media, organizing our desk, the appearance of activity without any actual progress. The second mask is perfectionism. We tell ourselves we'll start when we're ready, when we have the perfect plan, when inspiration strikes. This sounds more sophisticated than "I'm lazy," so we believe it more easily. But it's the same lie. We're still just delaying, we're still just afraid. The third mask is false timing. We say things like, "I'll do it next week when things slow down," or "I'll start in January," or "I'll begin when I get the new software." We fixate on a future moment we imagine will be better and easier. We treat time like money we can save up. But time only moves forward. Every moment we postpone is a moment we're actually wasting. Seneca had a blunt response to this fantasy. The future isn't guaranteed, you might not get there. Even if you do, you'll simply find new reasons to procrastinate. You'll still be waiting, still be afraid, still be stuck. In Letter 12, Seneca goes further. He says people who procrastinate are essentially denying death. They act as though they have infinite time. They postpone life because they can't admit that life ends. So they create a comfortable fiction where they're always about to start, always preparing, always on the verge, but never actually acting. Think about what you've been putting off. The bigger things, the conversation you need to have, the project that matters to you, the change you know you need to make. How long have you been carrying it? And what has that postponement cost you, not in productivity metrics, but in peace of mind, in self-respect, in actual lived time? Seneca's cure for procrastination is uncomfortable because it requires giving up the fantasy. He says begin ugly. Begin before you're ready. Begin before you have the perfect plan. Begin imperfectly. Begin anyway. This is radically different from how we usually think about starting. We want everything aligned. Seneca says that's a trap. That's just another form of waiting. Instead, he suggests starting small, starting messy, starting in a way that feels insufficient, because the power isn't in perfection. The power is in momentum. The moment you begin, something shifts. The task is no longer theoretical, it's real. And real tasks can be worked on, refined, completed. But imaginary tasks, tasks you're perpetually about to do, those never move. In letter 101, Seneca returns to this theme. He talks about the way people stockpile time like money. But unlike money, time can't be stored, it can't be hoarded. The only way to use time is to spend it moment by moment. If you're not spending it on what matters, you're wasting it. That's just arithmetic. Ancient Rome didn't have social media, but if it had, Seneca would have predicted it. He would have seen endless procrastination tools immediately, because procrastination doesn't just come from fear, it comes from too many choices. Modern procrastination has taken on new forms, but Seneca's diagnosis still applies. We have infinite information, infinite entertainment, infinite ways to feel busy without doing anything real. We have access to more options than any human in history. And strangely, this makes procrastination easier, not harder. We spend an hour choosing between 5 ways to approach something. We watch just one more video about productivity instead of actually being productive. We refresh social media instead of refreshing our focus. We curate and plan instead of actually creating. Seneca would see all of this as just a new costume on the same fear. The fear of commitment, the fear of failure, the fear of admitting this thing matters to us. Because if we start, we can fail. If we start, we have to care. And caring is vulnerable, so we wait. This is why Seneca's cure is so simple but so difficult. It's not about better time management. It's not about apps or systems or hacks. It's about breaking the spell. The spell is spelled with a single word, later. Later is the most powerful word in the human language when it comes to wasting time. Later contains infinite possibility. Later you'll be ready. Later you'll be brave. Later you'll finally do it. But later never comes. Later is always receding. The Stoic cure is to refuse later, to collapse the distance between now and action, to accept that you will never feel completely ready, you will never have perfect information, you will never have ideal conditions, you will never feel like it. And you do it anyway, not because you're superhuman, but because you understand the cost of not doing it. You understand that each day you postpone is a day you're not actually living. Seneca's message, written 2,000 years ago, is shockingly modern because human nature hasn't changed. We still fear commitment. We still tell ourselves stories about tomorrow. We still mistake planning for action. We still confuse busyness with progress. The good news is that the cure is immediate. It doesn't require waiting. It doesn't require permission. Right now, there is something you've been putting off, something that matters to you, something that, if you did it, would change something about your life or work or relationships. You know what it is. Here's what you're going to do. Set a timer for 10 minutes, just 10, and work on that thing, not to finish it, not to solve it completely, just to start it, to break the seal, to shatter the illusion that it's still theoretical. Once you begin, once you have something actually in motion, the psychological resistance drops. The fear doesn't go away, but it becomes manageable because you're no longer stalling, you're no longer pretending, you're actually moving. Seneca said the hardest part isn't the task, it's breaking the spell of delay. That spell breaks the moment you begin. 10 minutes is enough, not because you'll accomplish everything, but because you'll accomplish the one thing that matters most, the shift from imagining to doing, from later to now. So the question isn't whether you have time. The question is whether you're willing to stop sacrificing the present for a future that might never arrive. Whether you're willing to admit this thing matters. Whether you're willing to begin imperfectly, without guarantee, without certainty, knowing you might fail. That's what it means to take your life seriously, not to perfect it, but to actually live it. As Seneca wrote, putting things off is the biggest waste of life. It snatches away each day as it comes and denies us the present by promising the future. Every postponement is a theft from your own life. And the only person who can stop the theft is you. Start now, not someday, not when things calm down. Now, subscribe if you're ready to stop waiting.